I thought I had everything figured out. Jessica and I were 3 weeks away from our wedding. 4 years together building a future on trust and love. But something felt off when my mother insisted on helping with last-minute preparations while I was away on business. I should have known better. My mother always favored my brother Ethan, the successful one, the wealthy one. I just never thought Jessica would fall for it too. Before I tell you how betrayal cost me everything, let me know where you are watching from and hit subscribe to follow my journey back to happiness. The year was 2018, and my life felt like it was finally falling into place. I had a steady job as a software engineer at a respectable company in Boston. The pay was decent but not spectacular enough to afford our modest 2-bedroom apartment and save a little each month for our future together. Jessica taught art at the local high school, a job that fulfilled her creative passion, but certainly did not make her wealthy. We were comfortable, not rich, and that had always seemed fine until my mother got involved. My brother Ethan was another story entirely. 3 years older than me, he had built a successful investment firm from the ground up. By 30, he owned a penthouse downtown, drove a Mercedes, and took luxury vacations twice a year. My mother never missed an opportunity to mention his accomplishments at family gatherings. I remember that Sunday dinner just a month before everything fell apart. My mother had invited us over supposedly to discuss wedding plans. I still see her face clearly, the way she looked at Jessica while saying, "Darling, are you sure you want such a simple wedding?" Ethan threw his college girlfriend a wedding that made the local papers, $20,000 just on flowers. Jessica squeezed my hand under the table. "Sam and I prefer something intimate. It is about our love, not the spectacle." My mother just smiled, that knowing smile of hers. "Of course, dear. We all make compromises in life." Ethan sat there silently, occasionally glancing at Jessica in a way that should have alarmed me. But I trusted my fiancée completely. That was my first mistake. When the call came from my boss about the emergency project in Seattle, I was frustrated about the timing. Just 3 weeks before our wedding, and I needed to fly across the country for 7 to 10 days. "You should go," Jessica said, surprising me. "Your mother and I can handle the final arrangements. This project could lead to a promotion, right? We could use the extra money." It was the first time Jessica had ever mentioned money as a concern, but I dismissed it. Wedding planning was stressful, and everyone gets practical near the end. The first few days away, our nightly calls were normal. Jessica told me about cake tastings and final venue details. By the 4th day, something had changed. Her responses became shorter, distracted. She started missing my calls, claiming she was busy with my mother finalizing details. "Everything okay?" I asked during our brief call on the 5th night. "Fine, just tired. Your mother is being very helpful." I heard voices in the background. "Is someone there with you?" I asked. "Just your mother and Ethan. He stopped by to help with some logistics." Ethan. Helping with our wedding. That should have been my second warning. "Put him on, I want to say hi," I said, suddenly uneasy. "Oh, he just stepped out. Listen, I have to go. Call you tomorrow." She hung up before I could respond. The next day, she did not answer my calls at all. The day after, a brief text. "Super busy. Talk tomorrow." Concern turned to anxiety. I finished the project 2 days early and booked a red-eye flight home, planning to surprise Jessica. Instead, I was the one surprised. I took a taxi from the airport straight to our apartment, but no one was home. I checked my watch. 8:30 in the evening. Where would she be? On a hunch, I called an Uber and directed it to LeBlanc, my brother's favorite upscale restaurant. The hostess seated me at a small table near the back, and that is when I saw them. Jessica, Ethan, and my mother laughing at a table near the window. Jessica was wearing a black dress I had never seen, clearly expensive. Her hair was styled differently, more sophisticated than her usual look. I was about to walk over when their conversation stopped me cold. "I cannot believe you waited this long to break it off with Sam," my mother said, patting Jessica's hand. "He's a good boy, but Ethan can give you the life Sam never could." Jessica looked down at her plate, twisting something on her finger. It caught the light, sparkling far more brilliantly than the modest diamond I had saved for months to buy her. A new engagement ring. "I do care about Sam," Jessica said softly. "But your advice made me realize what I would be giving up. The house, the security, the lifestyle." Ethan reached across the table, taking her hand. "You deserve better than struggling with a mid-level programmer. I can give you everything he cannot." My mother beamed like she had just solved world hunger. "This is for the best. Sam will understand eventually. He always settles for less." I stood there invisible to them as my entire world collapsed. The woman I loved, the brother I grew up with, and the mother who should have supported me all conspiring behind my back. The betrayal was so complete, so perfect in its cruelty, that I could not even confront them. I left the restaurant unnoticed and walked for hours through the city, my mind racing between disbelief, rage, and a hollow emptiness that threatened to swallow me whole. Back at our apartment, I made a decision. I would not give them the satisfaction of seeing me broken. I would not beg or fight. I would simply disappear. I packed 2 suitcases with essential clothes and personal items. I withdrew our wedding savings, $11,000 that we had both contributed to. Technically half was hers, but I considered it severance pay for 4 years of wasted time. I left a single note on the kitchen counter. "I know everything. Good luck with your new life." By midnight, I had checked into an airport hotel. By 6 the next morning, I was on a flight to San Francisco, a city where I knew no one, where no one knew me, and where I could disappear and rebuild what was left of my shattered life. The first few months in San Francisco were the darkest of my life. I rented a tiny studio apartment in a questionable neighborhood, the only place I could afford while I searched for work. Each night I struggled with insomnia, replaying the scene at that restaurant, torturing myself with questions about when the affair had begun, how long they had been laughing behind my back. During the day, I threw myself into job hunting, eventually landing a position at a small tech startup working on security software. The pay was less than what I had made in Boston, but the company had potential, and the work gave me something to focus on besides my pain. I existed rather than lived, working 12-hour days, returning to my empty apartment only to sleep. I ignored calls from unknown numbers, assuming they were Jessica or my family trying to find me. I had no interest in their explanations or apologies. The only person from my past I stayed in touch with was my college roommate Tim, who had no connection to my family. "They are looking for you," Tim told me during one of our rare calls. "Your mother filed a missing person report." "Tell them I am fine if they ask," I replied. "But do not tell them where I am. Jessica is already engaged to Ethan. The wedding is in June. I do not care. I lied. I am done with all of them." But the truth was, I did care. The betrayal still cut deep, and the loneliness of my new existence was taking its toll. I had lost weight, rarely slept, and spoke to almost no one outside of work. Everything changed the day Amanda moved into the apartment next to mine. I first met her in the laundry room, where she was struggling with an overflowing basket while trying to hold her ringing phone. "Need a hand?" I offered, taking the basket before she could answer. "Thanks." She smiled, answering her call. "No, Jacob, the quarterly projections cannot wait until Monday, because the investors need them for the weekend review. I do not care if your golf tournament." She rolled her eyes at me as she argued with her colleague, and I found myself smiling for the first time in months. After her call, she introduced herself. "Amanda Pearson, financial analyst, and apparently the only responsible person at my firm. Sam Taylor, software engineer and laundry helper." We started running into each other more often after that. Amanda would knock on my door with extra takeout, claiming she always ordered too much. I would help her carry groceries up the 4 flights of stairs when the elevator was broken. Small kindnesses between strangers that slowly grew into friendship. 3 months after we met during one of our now regular Friday night takeout sessions, Amanda asked the question I had been dreading. "So, what is your story, Sam? You never talk about your past, your family, ex-girlfriends. Sometimes you look so sad when you think no one is watching." Maybe it was the 3rd beer, or maybe I was finally ready to talk about it, but I told her everything. The betrayal, my escape, my self-imposed exile. To my surprise, sharing the burden made it lighter somehow. Amanda did not offer empty platitudes or tell me I would find someone better. She just listened, really listened, And then she said something that changed everything. You know what the best revenge would be? Building such an amazing life that they regret what they did every single day. The next day, Amanda came over with her laptop and a determined expression. You have $11,000 just sitting in a savings account. That is criminal. Let me help you invest it. Amanda's financial expertise proved invaluable. With her guidance, I diversified my savings into several promising investments. But the real breakthrough came 6 months later, when I developed a new encryption algorithm that caught the attention of our company's biggest client. This is revolutionary, my boss said, after reviewing my work. How soon can we implement it? The algorithm became the cornerstone of a new security product that rapidly gained traction in the financial sector. When the company was acquired a year later, my stock options suddenly made me a wealthy man. Amanda and I celebrated over champagne on the roof of our apartment building. To new beginnings, she toasted, and brilliant financial advisors, I added. In her eyes, I saw something I had not seen in anyone's eyes since before Jessica's betrayal, genuine pride in my accomplishments untainted by comparison or conditions. With my new capital and Amanda's business acumen, we made a decision that would change both our lives. We founded SecureStream, a data security company built around my encryption technology. Amanda left her firm to become our CFO, and within 18 months we had offices in 3 cities and a staff of 45 employees. As the business grew, so did my feelings for Amanda. Unlike Jessica, she had seen me at my worst when I had nothing to offer but myself, and she had still believed in me. Our relationship evolved naturally from friendship to romance, built on a foundation of mutual respect and trust. 2 years after I left Boston, I barely recognized my life or myself. The broken man who had fled in the night was now the CEO of a rapidly growing tech company. The crushing loneliness had been replaced by meaningful work and a relationship built on honesty. One evening, after a particularly successful investor meeting, I took Amanda to the coastline where we had spent our first official date. Remember when we came here last year, I asked, as we walked along the beach. Amanda smiled. You were still using that terrible hair product that made you look like you had been electrocuted, and you still thought I was worth dating. Best decision I ever made. I stopped walking, turning to face her. I was thinking maybe we could make another good decision. I pulled out the small box I had been carrying all day and opened it to reveal a simple but elegant diamond ring. Nothing flashy or ostentatious. A ring chosen for the woman, not for show. Amanda, you saw value in me when I could not see it in myself. You helped me rebuild, not just my life, but my capacity to trust and love again. Will you marry me? Tears filled her eyes as she nodded. Yes, absolutely yes. Our wedding was small and intimate, held at a coastal inn with only our closest friends. No family on my side. No reminders of the past. Just the promise of a future built on a stronger foundation than the one I had lost. By our 3rd anniversary, SecureStream had become a major player in data security, valued at over $70 million. Amanda had launched a foundation using a portion of our profits to fund arts education in underprivileged schools, combining her financial expertise with my experience of Jessica's passion for teaching art. I had everything I never knew I wanted. Success beyond what Ethan could have imagined. Love more genuine than what Jessica had offered. And something neither of them had peace with who I was and the life I had built. 5 years after I left Boston without a word, Amanda and I were planning the SecureStream annual charity gala. What had started as a small fundraiser had grown into one of the most prestigious tech industry events in California, raising millions for education initiatives across the country. The guest list is finalized, Amanda said, reviewing details in our home office. 400 attendees, including the mayor and several tech industry leaders. I nodded, scanning the spreadsheet on my tablet. A name caught my eye, making my heart stop momentarily. Ethan Taylor. Taylor Investments, I read aloud. How did he get on our list? Amanda looked up, surprised. I did not make that connection. He donated $50,000 to the foundation last month, which automatically put him on the invitation list. Do you want me to uninvite him? I considered it for a moment. No. After 5 years, I am curious. Besides, he has no idea I am behind SecureStream. The company is in your last name. Are you sure? It could be uncomfortable. I am sure. Maybe it is time to close that chapter completely. What I did not tell Amanda was that I had occasionally checked on my former family and fiancé over the years. I knew that Ethan and Jessica had married in a lavish ceremony featured in Boston Magazine. I knew my mother now lived in the guest house on their estate. I knew from business news that Ethan's company had weathered some difficulties during the economic downturn. What I did not know was how seeing them again would make me feel. The night of the gala arrived, our 5-star hotel venue transformed into an elegant wonderland of lights and flowers. Amanda looked stunning in a designer gown, her success as CFO evident in her confident interaction with the business elite of San Francisco. I was speaking with the mayor when our event coordinator discreetly approached. "Mr. Pearson, the tailor party from Boston has arrived." I excused myself and moved to a position where I could observe their entrance without being immediately seen. Ethan entered first, older but still handsome in a custom tuxedo. Jessica followed, beautiful in an expensive gown, but her smile seemed practiced rather than genuine. Behind them came my mother, her hair now completely silver, looking exactly like the wealthy society matron she had always aspired to be. I watched as they greeted other guests, Ethan clearly working the room, making business connections. Jessica stood slightly apart, looking almost bored as she sipped champagne. My mother preened, clearly proud to be associated with such wealth and status. None of them knew that in minutes the anonymous CEO of SecureStream would be revealed as the man they had betrayed and dismissed. At 9 precisely, the lights dimmed, and the event host took the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our hosts for the evening, the founders of SecureStream and the Pearson Foundation, Samuel and Amanda Pearson." Amanda and I walked onto the stage, hand in hand. The spotlight momentarily blinded me, but as my vision cleared, I immediately found them in the crowd. Ethan's confident smile frozen in shock. Jessica's champagne glass suspended halfway to her lips. My mother's hand clutching her chest as if she might faint. I delivered my planned speech about the foundation's work, introduced Amanda, who spoke passionately about our educational initiatives. Throughout, I was acutely aware of their stares, the whispered conversation between them. When the formal presentations concluded, I knew a confrontation was inevitable. I squeezed Amanda's hand. "They are here," I whispered. "Ethan, Jessica, and my mother." Amanda's eyes widened. The nerve of them. "Do you want to leave?" "No. I am not running again. This is our night, our success. Let them come to us." We did not have to wait long. As we circulated among guests, Ethan approached Jessica, and my mother trailing behind him. "Sam," he said, his voice a mixture of shock and forced joviality. "This is unexpected. You just disappeared." Mother was worried sick. I smiled politely. "Ethan, Jessica, Mother, allow me to introduce my wife, Amanda Pearson. Amanda, this is my brother Ethan, his wife Jessica, and my mother." Jessica's face had lost all color. "Sam, we tried to find you. To explain." "There was nothing to explain," I replied calmly. "I saw everything that night at LeBlanc. I heard everything." My mother stepped forward. "Samuel, darling, you misunderstood. We were only thinking of what was best for everyone." "Best for everyone? Or best for appearances?" I asked, keeping my voice level. "How have the last 5 years been? Is everyone living their best life?" Ethan cleared his throat. "Actually, we should talk privately. I have been following SecureStream's progress. Very impressive growth. Perhaps there are partnership opportunities between our firms." Of course. Even now, Ethan saw me only as a business opportunity. "I do not think our companies are compatible," I replied. "SecureStream is built on trust and integrity." Jessica's eyes darted between Ethan and me. "Sam, can we talk? Just for a minute." Amanda squeezed my hand in silent support. I nodded slightly. 5 minutes in the terrace lounge. Amanda kissed my cheek. "I will handle the senators group. Take your time." In the relative privacy of the terrace lounge, Jessica spoke first. "Your wife seems lovely." "She is. And genuine, which makes all the difference." Jessica flinched. "I deserve that. I made a terrible mistake, Sam." I got caught up in the lifestyle Ethan promised. Your mother was very persuasive. And how did that work out for you? I asked, genuinely curious. The money is nice, she admitted. But Ethan works constantly. We have separate lives, separate bedrooms now. He had affairs. I know about at least 3. She looked out at the city lights. I teach art online now. Ethan thought teaching at a public school was beneath his wife. I felt no satisfaction at her unhappiness, only a distant sadness for what might have been. I am sorry your life did not turn out as you hoped, I said sincerely. Are you sorry, I mean about how things turned out, she asked. I thought about Amanda, about our company, our foundation, the life we had built together. No, I answered truthfully. If you had not made the choice you did, I would never have found Amanda. Never have discovered what I was truly capable of. Ethan and my mother joined us, then ending our private conversation. Sam, my mother began, her voice taking on the cajoling tone. I remembered from childhood, now that we have found each other again, we must not lose touch. Family is everything. Is it? I asked quietly, because 5 years ago you were quite clear that status and money were everything. That I would never provide the life Jessica deserved. People change, she insisted. I have missed you, my son. I looked at the 3 of them, really looked at them. My brother successful but cold, already calculating how to benefit from my new status. Jessica beautiful but hollow, trapped in a gilded cage of her own making. My mother still manipulating, still chasing status through her children. I have built a new life, I said finally. One where I am valued for who I am, not what I provide or how I appear to others. I do not hate any of you. I simply have nothing in common with you anymore. Ethan's face hardened. Still self-righteous little brother. Some things never change. More things change than you realize, I replied. Now, if you will excuse me, I have 400 guests and a wife who actually loves me waiting. As I turned to leave, Jessica called after me. Sam, I really am sorry. I paused, looking back at her. I know, but sorry does not change the past. It just acknowledges it. Goodbye, Jessica. Returning to the main ballroom, I found Amanda speaking with a group of educators receiving foundation grants. Seeing me approach, she excused herself and met me halfway. Are you okay? She asked, concerned. I pulled her into a gentle embrace. Never better. Meeting them again just confirmed what I already knew, which is that losing everything 5 years ago was the best thing that ever happened to me. It led me to you. The encounter at the gala changed something in me. The last lingering tendrils of resentment and pain finally released their hold. Seeing them all again, I realized I truly had moved on, built something better than what I had lost. Amanda noticed the change too. You seem lighter, she observed one evening as we sat on our terrace overlooking the bay. Like you set down a heavy backpack you had been carrying for years. I nodded. Seeing them made me realize something important. I spent years thinking I had lost everything that night. But what I actually lost were the wrong people. People who never truly valued me. 6 months after the gala, Amanda and I welcomed our first child, a daughter we named Lily. Holding her in my arms, I felt a fierce protectiveness and also a profound gratitude for the path that had led me here. My mother sent expensive baby gifts, which we donated to a women's shelter. Ethan sent a business proposal, which I politely declined. Jessica sent a simple card with a handwritten note. Congratulations. You deserved happiness all along. I kept the card not out of lingering attachment, but as a reminder of how far I had come. Life continued to evolve. SecureStream expanded internationally. Amanda's foundation opened art centers in underprivileged communities across 3 states. We bought a second home in Hawaii, where we could escape with Lily and disconnect from the business world. Looking back on my journey from betrayal to rebuilding, I realized that the most valuable lesson was not about revenge or success. It was about authenticity. My mother and Ethan had always chased external validation, wealth as a measure of worth. Jessica had been seduced by that value system, but true wealth was not in our bank accounts or investment portfolios. It was in the genuine connection Amanda and I shared, in Lily's laughter, in the knowledge that our work made a positive difference in the world. Sometimes the greatest loss opens the door to the greatest gain. The betrayal that once brought me to my knees became the foundation upon which I built a more authentic life. The pain that once threatened to destroy me became the catalyst for discovering my true strength. If you are facing betrayal or loss right now, remember that it is not the end of your story, but perhaps the beginning of a better one. The people who truly belong in your life will value you for who you are, not what you can provide or how you make them look. What is your experience with betrayal? Has it ultimately led you somewhere better, or are you still in the painful middle of the journey? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear that sometimes losing everything is just the universe making space for something better. Thank you for listening. And remember that your worth is not determined by those who failed to see it.